some of you might have heard that, I think his first name was David. David Rockefeller died at 101 years old. A very, very evil man, responsible for really harming this country. A communist, diehard communist, a New World Order, exposed to those who are looking for the truth. So he died. North Korea was threatening to bomb us, and they set off a bomb, a missile, and it fizzled on the launch, so we don't know whether God did it or it was, well, we know there are no accidents, or whether we had some undercover agents in there working against it, we don't know. But North Korea is threatening us, China is threatening us. There was a terror attack in London. And England is going through a similar crisis that we're going through here. They're in London City, like in this country, it's in New York and in California. All of these elites and liberals that actually believe that there should be no borders, that anyone that wants to come here should be able to come here, which makes, it's the mind of the beast, it's totally irrational. Upheaval everywhere. There was a national boycott against Starbucks, which I was very pleased to be a part of, and usually I don't get involved in things like that. But I did get involved in this one. I had an opportunity to meet someone in Starbucks, and I wouldn't go. We went to Dunkin' Donuts instead. And the very next day, it was on the news, Starbucks surrendered. They lost 25% of their, I don't know whether it was 25% of their income or 25% of their worth on the stock market. I'm not really sure what it was, 25% of something they lost. The CEO that enraged the American people stepped down, and there's a new CEO. And what did he do? He was, I don't know why these businesses have to get involved in local politics. Well, it's not local, national politics, but I do know why, because they're so arrogant that they think because they're so wealthy that they're really running the country, and they have forgotten that this is a country and a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. They have forgotten about the people, and they really think that they're kings and aristocracy, and that is the truth of it. So he was so angry at Donald Trump, and these elites are so angry that Donald Trump has been elected, that he said, he was so angry in particular at President Trump about his immigration ban, which is to protect the nation. It's total insanity unless you understand the agenda. Okay, if you're a nationalist, it's total insanity. If you're someone on the street who is in danger of getting attacked or of having your daughter or your son attacked, it's insanity. But if you are a multimillionaire or a billionaire, okay, that is making a lot of money by the New World Order policies, okay, which is what the story is, okay, then you're a globalist and you're not a nationalist. So you don't want the immigration ban. And in my opinion, you're a traitor to this country, okay? You're living here, making your money here, and your politics is anti-American. That makes you a traitor. It's called treason. Okay? So he made an announcement. He was so incensed at Donald Trump, he jumped on the bandwagon and said, I'm not going to hire Americans. Over the next so much amount of time, I'm going to hire only illegal, not even illegal immigrants, 10,000 illegal immigrants I'm going to hire. And the boycott just started. It's called a grassroots movement. It just started spontaneously. And what's interesting, because I said I don't usually get involved in this kind of thing, I had never heard of a store called Nordstrom's. I don't think, someone told me we haven't, there's one in Nassau County. I've never heard of that store, That they did the same thing. They came against President Trump. I mean, why are you putting your business in it? Because you're so arrogant that you think you're the aristocracy. And it was all over the news that women in particular were canceling their charge accounts, their credit accounts. And I was looking for a particular product after that happened, and I had never heard of Nordstrom's before. So I obviously have no account with them. I was shopping on the internet for a particular product, and the best price, you type in what you want and at least 5 options come up. The best price, significantly cheaper than all the others. Where do you think it was being sold from? Nordstrom's. And I said, no, I'm not going to buy it, And I felt very good about it, because what's going on in this country is really a civil war. And And it's you see the ignorant people with this liberal beast mindset, they think that they're so self-righteous because they're going along with a lie that makes them feel good about themselves. Anyone that wants to come here should come here. And that people that have been living here all their lives or for generations should lose their job to an illegal alien. Insanity, total insanity, you know. Except that you understand that it's either the billionaires that are making money on it or ignorant people that want to feel good about themselves, self-righteous. And our government is completely compromised. We can't get too emotionally involved, but I have to tell you that it touched me yesterday when I read that the Koch brothers offered millions of dollars to the campaigns of any congressman that will vote against President Trump's health care bill today. Yeah. And that is wrong. That is really wrong. You know, I think that is really wrong. But of course, the Koch brothers can do anything they want. But are these congressmen going to be bought, or are they going to buy vote their conscience? The whole system is just corrupted, you know. The whole system is just completely corrupted. So these Koch brothers, they're supposed to be conservatives, but Michael Savage had exposed them as making billions of dollars off of these illegal immigrants because they are behind building all of the housing for them. They're making billions of dollars off of the illegal immigrants. What's going on is really evil. The Lord's going to have to take it apart a piece at a time down to its very root because it's totally corrupt. The system is totally corrupt. And then Congressman Nunez, he's the head of the Intelligence Committee in the House. I'm sorry that I don't have the exact name for you, but the committee that deals with intelligence. And he stood up and gave a press conference yesterday that there is proof that the Obama administration was surveilling Donald Trump during the transition time. And he was all shaken up. It's like these people in Washington, they don't really believe what's going on. A lot of the congressmen, the ones that are involved in it illegally, they know what's going on. The ones that are taking graft, and like John McCain, you know, and Leslie Graham, and I don't know about graft. I shouldn't have said graft, taking money, and Ryan too. I hear they vote because they vote for the people that are giving them money. It's just horrible. It's just really wrong. The whole system is corrupt. The plea bargaining system is corrupt. That you know, a lot of people that are in trouble don't even get a trial by their peers because of the way the prosecutors use the system to threaten them. The whole system is just utterly corrupted. Everything's in an uproar because the Lord is taking it. First, He's going to expose it before He takes it apart, a piece at a time. So right now it's being exposed. We're waiting to see what Attorney General Jeff Sessions does. If he's going to really prosecute these high-profile politicians that are into pedophilia, which he says he's going to do. We'll see. I saw a young newspaper person interviewed by Tucker Carlson. I think everybody loves Tucker Carlson. I'm so glad that Megan quit so that Tucker Carlson got the job. The man, he's just incredible. He's just the best interviewer I've seen to my memory. So we had this young newspaper woman up there, and she was just out there all. I mean, I watched Sean Spicer's press conferences. The press is just out to get the president. If he moves like this, they have something to say. If he moves like that, they have something to say. They're just waiting to get him. But the big news yesterday was on the president's side, that it looks like Comey is in trouble. It looks like he's been lying. It looks like and Congressman Nunez stood up and said, "This is really a big deal that we have proof that Donald Trump, before he was president, and members of his team, well, not only were they being surveilled, but members of his not wouldn't have been his administration yet, members of his transition team were unmasked." Very serious. I'd like to explain to you what that means to be unmasked, politically speaking. What's happening is that there are more than 16, at least 16 agencies that do surveillance and undercover work. It's supposed to be towards enemy combatants. They're not supposed. The law says they're not supposed to be surveilling private citizens unless they have reason to believe these private citizens are breaking the law. Then they're supposed to go to a court called a FISA court and get permission, a warrant, to surveil. And surveillance includes wiretapping and other things that they do, largely wiretapping. And what's really interesting is that not too long ago I finished watching a series on TV called I think it's called The Good Wife. And part of that series, which is in the last few years, what's happening today, a lot of what's going on in the world is incorporated into TV series. If you don't know that, you might think it's just funny or that it's somebody's imagination, but it's really going on today. So, and as a part of that series, she was an attorney and married to a governor, and she was being surveilled. So the TV series showed you this office, okay, with these big computers, okay, and in particular 2 men who had their own computer and whatever they were doing with the surveillance, and they would talk to each other. And all of a sudden you would hear these sounds. So one said to the other, what's going on over there? And the other guy says, oh, she's having sex. They're like in every part of your life, okay? How do they know that? They tap into your phone. If you don't know that and you're listening to me, you should know that you cannot shut your iPhone off. Okay, your iPhone could be completely off, and they could be monitoring you. You need to either put it in a box that is sealed so that the transmission can't go through. You have to get it out of the room. I don't even know how far. Maybe in another room of the house, maybe. Okay, and Samsung TVs. I have a big Samsung TV in my bedroom. It's a good thing I don't do anything except talk in my sleep. I don't know. That Samsung TV is supposed to be capable of surveilling you. Your microwave, anything that's electronic can be programmed to surveil you. And brethren, the truth of the matter is that one night, I work all hours of the night, okay? And I really prefer to do my spiritual work at night because it's very quiet. The phone doesn't even ring. It's just very quiet. This was like in the early hours of the morning. It was very quiet. And I heard someone sigh. I said, what's going on here? I mean, it was dead quiet in the house. And then I heard, and I'm looking around to see where it's coming from. And I heard it again. And it was coming out of my phone. It came out of my phone. There was no doubt in my mind that it came out of my phone. So what does that mean? Somebody was listening and they were bored because there was nothing happening. When I work, all they can hear is the click of my computer. And they were just bored. It was in the early hours of the morning. So this is true, what is going on. And it was done, but it's unless they have a warrant, it's illegal. I don't think they had a warrant against me. I haven't done anything. So they're doing all of this illegal. Our government is doing all of this illegal stuff. So there was evidence yesterday. Well, first of all, there was a big maelstrom because our president, he's very smart, okay? And he is the first Republican. All this attacking of Republicans to the point, to this malicious attacking of Republicans to the point of spiritual death. The attacks come from the Democrats that they really want to utterly destroy them politically, or any power that they have to oppose the Democratic Party. It's malicious, it's satanic, it's maniacal, it's way beyond political. Something's really, really wrong in this country, and what has happened is that demonic forces have seized members of the government. That's what's happened. So President Trump is the first Republican since all of this started, and it started in the Bill Clinton days. He's the first Republican to ever go back at them. The viciousness of the attacks coming from the Democratic Party have fallen upon either Republicans that are complicit with them or who are gentlemen. They've been in politics. It used to be that it was an honor to be a politician and that you had some ethics. So it's like, I liken it to what was going on in this country at its inception when the British redcoats were marching in the open field with their red coats, beating their drums and playing their flutes, and the American forces were in the woods in a guerrilla form attacking them and mowing them down. These Republicans have been mowed down by the political guerrilla forces for all of these years. President Trump is the first one to give it back to them, and they don't like it. And of course, the press is a part of the new aristocracy, or at least they're self-proclaimed aristocracy. The press calls them the elites. So they're out trying to destroy him completely. And that's what's going on with the press. If he moves like this, he's bad. If he moves like that, he's bad. If he moves like this, he's bad. They're just waiting to pounce on him. So this young reporter, and she looked like a really sweet, beautiful young woman. Maybe she was 25, you know? I don't know how she got up on Tucker Carlson. She must have made a name for herself somehow, unless she looked unusually young, so maybe she was 30. I mean, she was a young woman, beautiful young woman. And she just wanted to crucify President Trump. He did this, he did that. And Tucker Carlson said to her, you know what you're talking about, there's really no proof. There's really no proof, but the big story of the day is that, I'm sorry, Brendan, I'm not doing a good job of telling the story. A few weeks ago, President Trump came out on Twitter and said that, and he accused the Obama administration of surveilling him. And he's been attacked by the press, attacked by them viciously for saying irresponsible, untrue things. And as I said, I watch Sean Spicer's press conferences as often as I can, and there's this one guy, I think he's from the Times, his name is Jonathan, I don't know his last name. He is obnoxious. He wants to know if President Trump is going to apologize to President Obama. The investigation is not over yet, you know? Is he good? If he's proven that it's wrong, is he going to apologize? Let's have the investigation, okay? So Tucker Carlson was saying to this young woman, look at what happened, there's proof that Donald Trump was being surveilled. She didn't want to talk about it. She didn't want to say anything about it. He said, it's not only Donald Trump. He said to her, do you understand that we're supposed to be living in a free country, and well, he didn't say these words, we're turning into a police state, that our government is spying on private citizens? All private citizens, doesn't that bother you? She just wanted to go after President Trump. That was all she wanted to do, nothing else. So that's the state. But I want to explain, I'm asking to you anyway. So there are different conditions under which these intelligence agencies can spy. And now, Congressman Nunes, he was asked if he thought they were doing it illegally. Now, it wouldn't surprise me, in my humble opinion, if there were forces in the FBI and the CIA. Well, the CIA is not even supposed to have anything to do with private citizens, but lately, I think President Obama released that instruction. It wouldn't surprise me if it was illegal. But what do you expect Congressman Nunes to say? Is he going to accuse the FBI and the CIA of doing illegal things without proof? No. So he said, oh, well, I think it was legal. So the reporters say, yes, Congressman Nunes says he thinks it was legal. Would you want him to say, no, that he thinks it was illegal with no proof? They're just horrible. So anyway, illegal or not illegal, this is the procedure. They do have permission to wiretap the conversations of foreign representatives of foreign nations in the country. We have ambassadors, we have all kinds of people that are citizens of other countries, that are members of the diplomatic corps of other countries. So they're really going after Russia these days. So they're tapping they're wiretapping the phones of everyone in the Russian embassy. Okay. And if they now, our politicians, our senators and congressmen, they will talk to the foreign representatives in this nation. It's called politics. You know? And this is the whole thing. They're after Donald Trump, trying to crucify him, and he put up pictures of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton having drinking with the Russian ambassador. It's friendly. That's what goes on in Washington. So even calling it a witch hunt is inadequate. It's insane. Okay, but anyway, so our intelligence agencies have wiretaps on just about all of the foreign diplomats, and the foreign diplomats know it. Usually they know it, or they should know it anyway. So they were listening in to the Russian ambassador, and the Russian ambassador got a phone call from a member of Donald Trump's transition team. And as I understand, it's very, I don't recall it well enough to explain it to you, but he said something that I'm told, if you listen to the conservatives, he didn't do anything. He didn't say anything wrong. He might have led up to it. In other words, let's say the Russian ambassador said, well, I want to discuss sanctions with you. We're not happy that America has sanctions on Russia, and I want to discuss stopping the sanctions. And the representative from Donald Trump says, and actually he wasn't appointed yet, so he was a private citizen. And he said something that refused him, that maybe was right on the line. What he's supposed to say is, well, I have no authority, maybe I'll talk to you later, something like that. The conservatives say he didn't do anything wrong. It was close enough. He was on this side of the line that he didn't do anything wrong. But this is what the unmasking is, okay? According to the law, the intelligence agency listens to this phone call, and they hear that it was General Flynn, okay? And they're supposed to mask it, okay? When they put out the information that we wiretapped the Russian ambassador, okay? And we heard him talking to a private American citizen, General Flynn. And they're supposed to black it out. It's nobody's business that a private American citizen was speaking to the Russian ambassador, because they were surveilling the Russian ambassador. They were not surveilling the private citizen. Okay? So they're supposed to mask whoever they're surveilling. They can talk about or put it in their files. The person at the other end of the phone call, okay, they're supposed to be blanked out so that nobody knows about it. Well, they didn't do that. They unmasked General Flynn. And then General Flynn didn't do anything wrong, but then as a result of it, according to what President Trump says, he communicated, or he didn't communicate the information to the vice president, and that's why he was fired, because he didn't communicate what happened to the vice president, not that he committed any crime. And then when Congressman Nunes was looking at this recent information, he saw that multiple members of Donald Trump's team had been unmasked. It's nobody's business that a private citizen is talking to a representative of another country. They may be doing business. These men, they do billion-dollar business deals. It's their right to privacy. So the prejudice against our legally elected president is literally a civil war. It's a bloodless civil war at this point. They're really trying to destroy him. So everything's crazy, and you have to understand that there are demonic forces behind the whole thing. Demonic forces that want to do what? They want to overthrow the Constitution, and they want to overthrow the power of the church and establish a Luciferian world government. So you see, this is way beyond Democrats and Republicans. This is way beyond the New World Order. This is way beyond some men saying we want a one world order, we want a one world government so that there will be no more wars amongst the nations. One government, no more wars amongst the nations. It's way beyond that. It's demonic forces manifesting through actual human beings that are Luciferians. They believe Lucifer is God. And they want to overthrow the Constitution and Christianity and set up a Luciferian world government. We're talking about Lucifer coming and ruling and reigning over humanity. That's what this is all about. So it's a very serious time. And a large part of the church is fast asleep, or they don't care because they think they're going to be raptured, or they're just, I listen to a lot, I spend a lot of time listening to the news on YouTube, because you can't listen to the news on the broadcast news, it's all fake news. And I hear people that I trust saying that the mind control that's on the whole population is unbelievable. The population has become stupefied. We have a hypnotized population. A reporter from Alex Jones went out on St. Patrick's Day, went out to some university, I believe it was a university, with a microphone and her tag on that she was from a legitimate news source, asking people if they knew that St. Patrick's Day was a racist holiday, and would they be willing to sign a petition to ban St. Patrick's Day. And every single person that she asked signed the petition to ban St. Patrick's Day because it was a racist holiday. Some of them said, no, I didn't know it was a racist holiday, but I don't believe in racism. Sure, let's ban them, okay? Well, our Constitution says that even if you are racist, group that you can have your meetings if you want to. So especially the college kids, they're utterly indoctrinated. The population is stupefied from the mind control and the propaganda and the press. And it's never happened, I'm told, in the history of the world, that a whole population just walks around. They don't talk to each other anymore. They're just with their telephones and their iPads. They don't have dinner together anymore. They don't talk at the dinner table anymore. They're losing the art of conversation. They don't know how to communicate. So the country has been largely overtaken by demonic forces.